School board meeting, time is now 6 o'clock. And we have any guests for pledge?
We do. Come on up, girls. Mr. Moore, do we need to go anywhere in particular for them to be seen? Are we good?
Let me do that.
We're new to the video part, so I want to make sure they can
Right,
see on
that's
video.
actually
All right, perfect. So we have LaSalie Martin over here and Corinne Tracy here. LaSalie's in 5th grade, Corinne is in 6th grade. And you may have read about them in last month's board report. LaSalie, do you want to grab your posters? LaSalie here came in first in New Hampshire for her radon awareness poster. And Corinne came in second in New Hampshire for her radon poster. So a lot of our 5th and 6th graders participated in this contest along with others around the state. So we're very pleased to have the first and second place winners here in our school. LaSalie she enjoys free rights during school and lunch with friends. Those are her two favorite things at school. Outside of school, she enjoys walking her dog Buddy in the snow. And she likes to play in the snow with her sisters. She does basketball and soccer. Really interested in volleyball as well. Corinne likes recess the best at school. She likes to hang out with her friends. She also enjoys social studies class. They found out they both have German Shepherds when we were talking together. Corinne's name is Loki, and she has a cat named Finn as well. And Corinne also likes to play with her sister and plays basketball, softball, is on our cross-country team, and wanted to share that her favorite color is teal. All right, so girls, you can turn right around and they will lead us in the pledge. To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mike's going to come get us.
Okay, so we have our proof of posting.
Sorry. Thank you.
And then we have our Pinkerton Academy liaison, Rebecca.
Are going to pave that over, and there's going to be a green area, and then they're going to have a big grand opening sometime, I think, mid-spring. There's a cabaret tonight if you guys get out early. It's a mashup of a bunch of the arts programs, and they just come together and they put on a really good show. Mr. Pinkerton is going to be on March 14th. All Shook Up, which is a musical inspired by Elvis, is going to be March 21st to the 23rd. And girls basketball, they have a game tonight, and so hopefully they make it to the Final Four, so we might have some playoff games in our future. Boys track just won states, and gymnastics were the runner-up, and senior citizen prom is going to be March 30th, which is an event hosted by the class of 27. All right, that's it.
Thank you very much.
Rebecca.
And then we have our minutes.
I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of February 17th as written.
Second.
My only question is, I might have missed it. Did you update the day on the minutes? Because it says Thursday, February 17th, but it was Monday?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
I know you
That was the
updated.
second day, yeah, so it was Monday.
I'll amend my motion
No, I'm,
No, that's
to
okay.
minutes
No, you
as
don't have to.
amended.
No, we'll just make it.
yeah, so all those in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the non-public. Do we have those? Do we?
Oh, I'm
did we?
sorry. Yes,
I
you
don't
do.
remember.
There was.
Because it wasn't in the normal, because it wasn't
Right,
sealed.
it wasn't sealed, so
Sorry.
there
we have a motion for those?
Yeah, I'll make a motion that we accept the minutes of Thursday, February 13th as written.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
We have an opportunity for the public to address the board first, and there'll be another opportunity at the end. All right. Before we move forward, I just wanted to thank Christina. Tonight's her last meeting with us. What, 9 years? No,
Six.
Six
years.
Feels like 9.
With COVID, sometimes it did.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, we will definitely miss your expertise on the legal state level and all of your experience in between.
No doubt I can be tapped to come and sit in the audience and speak for the community as a member of the public.
We will miss you.
I'd like to also comment that Christina has great taste.
Oh, yeah, look at that.
Very chic.
And I would like to make a motion that we move the Project Safeguard discussion to our next item agenda.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay.
Thank you. I'm going to introduce Celeste, and she's going to really be the one to. Thank you. Introduce Celeste, and she's going to be the one to really talk with you. This is Celeste Clark. She is from the Raymond Youth Coalition, and one of our former students' grandparents, I guess, bumped into me at one of our presentations that we had here earlier this year, and told me about the Raymond Youth Coalition. Said, "Hey, we're doing Project Safeguard. It'd be something that would be great for you to get involved with. You know, get Candia involved with if you could." So, Celeste reached out, and we've been talking about it. And I wanted her to come, kind of present to you what Project Safeguard is, to see if it's something that you feel we should offer to our 7th grade students. Thanks, Celeste.
Hello, my name is Celeste Clark. I'm the director of the Raymond Coalition for Youth, and we've been offering Project Safeguard in our community for probably almost 20 years now. It's for 7th grade students and their parents or guardians, or if they have another trusted adult in their life, they can bring them with them. And it's a day of education, awareness, and fun. We go to Southern New Hampshire University, and we bring in all of our partners to talk about different subjects. Some of them are listed on the form that the paper that I've given you. Those classes are identified by the 7th grade team at our school, the middle school in Raymond. But if we're working with Candia, we could see if there's any certain topics that you wanted us to include as well. We have a keynote speaker who comes in, who for the past several years, ironically, happens to be your new police chief, Chad Shevlin. He's done a great job for us when he was at the Raymond Police Department. So I have not confirmed that he can do it or not, but I'm just telling you he has done it for us in the past. I don't know how much Becky included with you, that we did have an evaluation sheet too, but if you wanted an idea, the kids who attend always have a great time. They always learn, they have fun. The idea is to get them on a college campus, so we're exposing them to higher learning at the same time. And if we could partner with Candia, our numbers are down, so I suppose I should put that. When we first started doing this, we had like 130 to 140 kids in our 7th grade classrooms. Last year when we went, we had about 80. So if we're putting the event together, it makes sense to include more kids in the process, because the event's already all set, ready to go. The only difference would be the cost of the buses to get your students to the campus, and then their lunch, and then we buy them T-shirts. And I mentioned printing, and that's really the expenses, the only extra expense it would be to include your school and your students. So it's something we wanted to offer to see if you're interested. We would love to include you if you are, and we can work out the details.
So if we were to implement it, it would be like like if the parents want, like it wouldn't be managed, right? It would be like, yeah, if you wanted to do this,
We just
something we
put it out
offer.
there and say we're offering this day for anyone who wants to partake. And there's a parent track as well.
Yes.
That, parents can also attend and kind of, it's almost like a conference for kids.
Yes.
Really. They get to choose their sessions and, that kind of thing. It's great. We used to do it in Hooksett years ago. Maybe they still do. But the kids really enjoyed it when I was at the middle school there.
Great.
It is a school day.
It's right there, yeah, May 16th, Friday.
Oh.
Yeah, it's ours.
Yeah, I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, I think so.
Great.
Mark, you all set? I'll make a motion that we allow, accept the offer
from the Raymond Coalition for Youth for the Friday, May 16th day.
Second?
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Great. I'll be calling you, Celeste.
Sounds great.
Excellent.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you so much.
Thank you for letting me go early, too. I appreciate that.
You can always stay.
Next is the superintendent's report.
I don't have any additions to it.
Okay. And then the next is the administrator reports. Anybody have any questions on that? My only question was, I saw, Kimberly, that you're working on summer professional development. Do you like, I don't know how you would do this, but you don't. you-
Get teacher input.
Get teacher input, like, do you ask the different sites, like, what is something that you feel would be of quality?
Absolutely. So specifically, one of the things that I was working on is we have 3 educators within SAU 15 who were trained as OGAP facilitators. And one thing that I've heard from all 3 districts is that some of the folks who didn't have a chance to be OGAP trained are interested in that. And so that's one of the things that I was thinking about, but certainly
Can you
want to.
explain what OGAP is?
Yeah, so essentially, it really is training focused on mathematics, and there are 3 different areas that teachers learn about: additive, fractional, and multiplicative. And it's really about like a teaching approach for mathematics, but that is aligned to research. But obviously, I'm going to talk to Becky,
Yeah.
talk to the staff here, and find out what specifically they want to offer. But the other thing that kind of thinking about is like what new teacher orientation looks for all 3 districts, because we do that together.
Cool.
Yeah,
Try to.
right. Just more cost effective that way. And hopefully if we have
Yeah.
some folks that are trained in-house, then we can use them.
Is Becky trained?
You
OGAP?
Yeah.
Not specifically.
Really?
No. I went to OGAP trainings.
Yeah.
But I'm not trained as a facilitator. Yeah.
Anybody else? Old business heating update. We got an email today.
Yep. Mark, you want to
Should we?
read the email? If you could. Okay, let me get it up. And again, just as a reminder, not that we need reminding, but for folks at home, we've had issues with our heating system since the start of the heating season. And we had a facility subcommittee meeting last month, and Mark gave us the name of a company that we could reach out to see if we could change vendors. So that's the email that Linda sent us today.
Okay, so I'll read the email that came to them. It says, "Hi Linda, nice meeting with you today. To summarize, 1, you have a proprietary Schneider system. You log into a Schneider front end. E&E is the only contractor that can modify and add alarm notifications to it. The field controllers that control the boilers, ERVs, and FinTube are a combination of Schneider and Reliable brand controllers. If you want to add alarm notifications to your existing front end, E&E should be able to do this, and this is your most cost-effective option. If you want to get away from E&E, we could put in a new non-proprietary Tritium Niagara front end on top of the existing Schneider and Reliable field controllers. My rough estimate is this would cost $25,000 to $35,000, but it would allow us to do anything you need from graphics, remote access, alarm notifications standpoint. If you need to fix programming issues on existing field controllers, then we would need to replace the field controller that needs programming adjustments because they are programmed with proprietary Schneider and Reliable programming software. And he said just reach out to them if they like the proposal. So it seems like, in other words, the system we have, we'd have to work with E&E, and it's going to cost some money probably to be able to get them to put the technology onto the controller so that we can get notifications. Or
If
if we go with this other one,
if
it's
I
a
recall,
full-time monitor.
And I don't know if it was at our meeting, but I have in my head that Linda said that E&E said that we have it now, right?
Right.
Becky? That-
Right.
But
That's-
but it doesn't work.
But it hasn't worked.
It hasn't
Right, I'm
worked
so
right.
confused.
Right, it hasn't worked. They're telling us we have it, oh, yeah, you know, you'll get contacted now. It hasn't worked. We also had the same problem last year with notification. My recommendation to the board is that we wait until when we have our retreat, see what we have for a fund balance, and then make a decision on it then to,
I mean, with
don't
the,
they have a
with the
service
current
level
people,
agreement?
we've had human error faults.
right, you
That's
can
shut
have
down.
an agreement, a service agreement with a company, but it's only as good as the service they give you. You know, yes, we do. And the last incident that we had, Linda tried calling the help desk. She couldn't even reach anybody. It was like half hour, Becky, was it?
Yeah, it
Before
was at
she
least
actually,
a half hour.
oh, she had to
before
call the
got
owner.
An answer, and she ended up calling
She
the
had to
owner
call
to
the
get
owner
an answer.
directly.
Yeah, yeah.
So, our experience hasn't been the best, so I think it's something we should consider.
Can we have legal look at our contract?
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, or
We
a
can.
warranty review.
Yeah, I mean,
Yeah,
like,
we
where
don't have
had
much,
it.
it's just a service agreement that we have with them, but I can.
But the installation of the proprietary equipment,
Right, of
like,
the
it's
equipment,
proprietary, you
warranty.
Well,
can't.
right, but
produce.
it doesn't mean you can't take it out. It just means if you're gonna, for example, a lot of schools use Simplex for their clocks.
Right.
That's proprietary. You have to call Simplex, have them come in and do whatever. That doesn't mean you couldn't, a school district couldn't go to another company, but there's a cost associated with it because they take out their stuff and you gotta put in, it's a similar, that's what that
Sure,
email
but let's
was
see if
saying.
we can't exert some pressure on
On
the
a
existing
warranty.
relationship.
On a
you know,
warranty on our equipment.
Simultaneous with, going into a retreat in the future to determine whether or not we're gonna make an expenditure that I won't be here to make a decision on.
The unfortunate part is we've had it go down 3 times in 12.
Oh, I understand.
Less than a
We've
year.
had it for, when was it installed? There's gotta be some kind of warranty.
2.5 years, 3 years now?
No, the boilers are 7 or 8 years
Yeah,
old.
Oh, are they that old?
We didn't do the
Oh.
boilers.
We didn't, when we did our reno. we
I
didn't- we
thought-
didn't do
okay.
We didn't do anything with the heating system.
Right.
And we already checked with E&E, the warranties that we have for the roofs and everything else, that's not connected to that.
Right,
So
okay.
So this
it
isn't
doesn't,
new.
doesn't impact all the work that we did, $2.1 million worth of work. It's not related to that. at all.
Has it
Gotcha.
worked prior to last year? The notifications?
No.
I don't think it worked because it was off one time the year before.
But the
we didn't
previous
get
year, we had two, at least one issue that I remember,
It's
I
hard
think it was
because
two.
it's Pelmac who's been the one that we get the notification
We get the
from.
notification from another
And we
company,
get them from,
and
we
then
get it for all
E&E
sorts of
says,
things,
oh,
so
you
I-
have notification, the ability to get notified. Well, obviously, we haven't been, so.
Is it
I'm-
subcontracted to Pelmac?
Well, Pelmac does like low temperatures, Fireberg,
Right.
and that's
Troubles.
what they have. They have the low
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 temp.
temperature, and like, one of the things that
If
we
it gets too
figured
cold
out,
in the room.
I don't remember if it was this year or
It's too
last year,
late.
it gets, that room stays warm because it's the Bob the Builder room, right? It's that small room. So it stays warm, so now every night when the custodial staff leaves, they leave that door open, right? So that we know that it's getting more of the temperature of the building, rather than not. But my understanding is these, at least 2 issues this year, and I think the one last year too, are more related to something breaking down within the boilers that has to do with one shutting off as the other one starts to get hot, but then that one's actually really truly overheating and not coming back on, and then this
Everything
other one
shuts down.
can't run the whole time, so it shuts down. So they're supposed to like be toggling between each other,
Right,
as far as I
Right,
understand.
they're not supposed to both be
So
working.
it's
at
a
the same
zone
time.
valve issue.
It's a zone valve issue,
Yes.
yes,
It-
yes.
it- and
Better luck, or?
So I don't know what kind of
Is it
alarm
just
you would
us,
get
or
for
is it
that
like
unless
across
it's
the board
directly
that-
from,
I'd say.
in this
you would
case,
get
E and
For
E.
the boilers
With last year,
themselves,
you would have had a high temp
more Candia
alarm
than-
come up,
Not that
Right.
we've done.
and the other one would have
But
went
it's
low
not that
temp.
We
long.
have,
Right,
we
and we're
didn't,
not
we don't
getting
experience that.
So if you go to,
anything like that.
even though it's proprietary equipment, it's just like you're going from Honeywell to
Yeah.
a different
Right.
company.
So we
TE
should
or whatever.
probably add it to the May meeting or
I
the
would
June
add it
retreat?
to our retreat.
So,
Christina's question is a good one, though. I wonder if before last year's incident, if any of our calls were about the boiler. We can have Pelmac look back at that.
Yeah.
And see if we got any alerts from them.
Yeah, to see if they notified us. I don't.
I'm just trying to think of
remember.
what Pelmac,
Well, we wouldn't
No,
know,
Linda
because
would
Linda
know.
would have already taken care of it.
Right, that's true too.
You know what I mean? It would have been
Right, it's a little hidden or
be
obscured.
taken care of, but I'm gonna have her reach out to Pelmac and just see.
That 25 to 35,000, that's just a quote for the new product and labor, not for the actual, like, a service contract?
There would
too?
be a service con, I'm sure.
That would be part of that?
I'm sure it would be in addition to.
so we can have all that at our retreat, the contract, when the issues started and how old the equipment is, because I heard 25 to 35,000 on it. I'm thinking the new stuff and was not.
No, it's not the new
Okay.
stuff.
No, yeah, we didn't do the boiler, so this is probably controller, change out, boiler temperature change outs, stuff like that.
Right.
And then hooking it up so that it can talk to, something that's gonna, like a modem, that's gonna collect it.
And
then
because
ship the
because we
data.
do have that feature and hooks it, and it has worked. Our director of maintenance gets notified when there are issues. It does work.
Because the sooner you can get on it, the less time it's gonna affect
We
your
found,
school day.
as you remember, we found out, what, an hour before school opened, Becky?
That was a bad one,
About
yeah,
that.
last one, yeah.
Okay. So we'll add that to our June retreat.
Yeah, because Bob thought he had it back up and running fine, and then it quit again.
Yeah, he had it, he tried to
Yeah.
restart it a couple
Yeah.
times.
He did his best.
The next item under new business is the parent kindergarten request. We're gonna move that to, non-public at the end of our meeting. The field trip funding discussion.
Yes. So you asked me to look and see how much we would need from the budget for any field trips that we know are planned for the remainder of the year. The total would be $1,300, so we would only need about $800 over what is in that budget line,
So we need 800 over
just
the budget.
$800.
we
And that
need-
would be students paying
So that we don't-
$8
yes.
for any that cost over $8 to attend,
To keep to our current.
to keep to your $8. Yep.
Do we need a motion for that? I mean,
No, you got, as long as
the
the
go-ahead's fine.
consensus is
Yeah.
to do it, that's fine.
yeah.
Yep.
Does anybody?
That's
have-
why we brought it back.
No
It's something
objection.
We wanted to talk about.
No, the Pinkerton start time survey discussion.
Yes,
I liked the survey.
I
personally.
presented the survey. Becky was nice enough to put the times into the chart that they provided to us. As you can see, it shows current run times, when they begin and end, and then our afternoon, end times, start and end times. With this proposal, again, it's not really a big math equation. If they're starting a half hour later, that's gonna push us back time, and that's what this chart reflects. You then have the survey questions, they're pretty generic, I don't
Well,
say
I like the
generic.
ones that say like, how would it affect you, and make your morning more challenging, things like, so that should go to our current parents in K through 8.
That's, their proposal is that, or they asked if boards would consider sending out the survey with the chart and with the questions. That was their ask.
I think, well, if you think it would help our fight.
I think, I was talking with Becky just before, a little before the meeting. I can't imagine parents
So inconvenient.
would be in favor of it because of the inconvenience it creates, not to try to influence the outcome. But you're asking parents now to wait another half an hour to get their kids to either on a bus or in a car to bring them to school. And you also have, at night, at 5 o'clock, it's dark, starting in December through February, that's dark.
Yeah,
And
it's 4:30 dark.
so, not that we want, and we've talked about this before, we didn't, it's not a great idea to have our high school kids in the dark, but they're 14
More
to 17, they're more mature, versus having your kindergartners or your fifth grader or whatever, being dropped off, in the dark essentially. But I think the information, I'm two minds, but it's up to the board. I don't think it's a good idea, because I don't think a half hour is gonna make a difference one way or the other, but I don't have a say in how Pinkerton runs. If I had a high school and we were looking at start times, you'd have to make it meaningful in order to play with that time. With that said, there's no harm in sending the survey, because I think the feedback we get will not support it, and it gives me more ammunition, I think, to say, when I'm representing the SAU, to say.
Do you know if any of the other sending districts are doing surveys?
Auburn's not, let me rephrase. You guys are the first ones up. Auburn's position to date has been, we're not interested. We don't wanna do it.
Right.
I think Hooksett will be interested in, and at least entertain it. I don't know, again, we'll do that next week or 2 weeks. I'm not quite sure how they'll go with it, but I don't, they're not adamant, no, let's put it that way.
About the non-SAU 15, do you know anything if like any of them are doing?
Who?
The non-SAU
And every other-
15 districts?
Oh,
The other districts.
don't know.
You don't
I don't know.
I just think it'd be useful
Because-
for them to see.
They were all against it at that meeting,
Yeah.
right? Like, pretty much?
I think there's a couple of districts that, they haven't ruled it out, but I think, well, at least three, us, and I think a couple others are just like, no. No matter how you do it, you're gonna be upsetting start times for our K-8s. And while our kids go to Pinkerton, we don't control, it's not our, I don't wanna say our problem, but I don't know. I wouldn't recommend, if I had my own high school, I'd consider looking at time changes, but you have to make it a meaningful one, and then you have to take the input from your parents, because it's gonna change, like, just in this case, they're gonna be getting home in the dark. You know?
Well, and heaven forbid a bus be late, and then
Or
a
and a bus
parent's
runs
late to
behind.
work, and it
Right.
affects their.
Right, a bus runs late, or you have to combine buses, because a driver calls out, so that impacts them even further. It's a good point.
I would want the input from the parents.
Right.
You know, that way they feel that we're
yeah.
representing them, they're giving us their feedback, and we can
Exactly.
support
Yeah,
that.
we can't just make this
Yeah, that's fine.
decision in the
Does
dark.
the Board of Trustees, I haven't been to a Board of Trustees meeting, do they have a format like ours where people from, like parents from the sending districts can go directly, if they put it on one of their agendas and get
I don't know,
feedback directly?
I don't know enough of how they function. I couldn't answer that. I don't know whether
'Cause
they,
that would be something for them to do.
whether they allow parents to come
Public comment.
before them, or like have a public comment.
Yeah.
Because they're a private,
Yeah, I don't think they do. I think they're a little more
Quasi-public
unilateral.
inst-
Public dollars.
well, yeah, it's a different, that's a conversation for a different time.
Alright, I'm in favor. Do we wanna make a motion,
Yes,
or?
please.
So do you know if we would have direct access to our families' responses? Like, are we
We
the
are-
ones
we're
putting
sending
this
it.
in a
We're
format
sending
We are
and sending it our own
No,
way?
we would send it.
Okay, just checking.
No,
Just making sure.
and then we would, to bring the information, gosh, when is it? April something, to the next meeting in April.
And this is gonna be given to all of our parents, not just the ones with the kids that are getting ready to go to.
I
right?
think it should be given to all our parents.
Yeah, so I can send it out to our
Yeah.
K-8
Yeah,
population.
I think it, because the information, the survey, they did survey their stakeholders, but their return rate was extremely low. And they were basing it on a low response rate. Yeah, all the data shows high school kid, the data's been out for 20-plus years.
Right.
It is better
No
for
one's
them to start
arguing
late.
that, but you have to get a representative, feedback,
Yeah.
from your groups that you're interviewing. Like, if we get 10% back, I'll,
Kind of a standard survey response.
But if you're sending a survey out to high school kids, after freshman year, most of the kids are driving.
and the kids had some of the best comments, actually, from, they did share the responses with us. And the kids said some pretty insightful things to say.
Did they tend to support it or not support it?
Well, they liked the idea of sleeping in, but
Half hour.
some of them, it wasn't that, it was just
Oh,
more of a generic, if we started later. they like the idea of coming to school early, later, but many of them said, well, that's gonna impact, it could impact my work, if I work, you know, some said if
Right.
I work after school, some kids said, well, I have to be, how will it impact if I have to watch my brother or sister? The most common response, if I remember correctly, was well, I'll just stay up later.
Right.
Get a game a little more.
To do whatever, my homework
Yeah.
or what, just stay up later in general, you know, so, again, they're, you know, the kid, at that age, high school students are pretty perceptive.
Right,
on
right. Or
different
they've got their
things.
athletics.
And then you have athletics, and that pushes, because then you're you know, unless, you know, again, they never got into, well, are your kids gonna have to leave early for athletic events if they're playing in the afternoon, if they have afternoon away games? So does that mean they're gonna be pulled away from the classroom so that they can get, so, we've probably talked about
So
it too long,
will this
but,
be given out before the next meeting, so we could maybe, like, if we have results, we can go over them at the next meeting, put that as an agenda item?
Let me see
we'll
when
talk
the
to
next.
Becky.
Sorry.
Can we get this out, and do you think we can get responses back by the next
Maybe,
meeting?
like, have results and put it on the agenda, like,
Yeah,
go over it from
definitely. I
there?
can get it out like Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah,
good.
and ask for
Okay.
response by then.
Thank you.
Survey, I don't have the next date, but anyway, okay.
We're early, it's April 3rd, I think.
Start time?
Yeah, I'll send it out by Monday. That'll be the 10th. That'll give plenty of time for
Yeah,
response.
I think our next meeting's the 3rd, though, right?
Yep.
April? Yes, April 3rd, no, 4th,
Fourth?
sorry. No, 3rd, that's right. That's right, yeah, 3rd.
Next item is board scholarship discussion.
Yeah, I did some further research. A donation was made a number of years ago, a base donation of $10,000. But the way the trust was set up was that you can only use the interest from the money. And the board, and I tried to remember what it was, and maybe you guys have a better memory, institutional knowledge. 3 or 4 years ago, we tapped it for a scholarship and used some of the interest that was there. And currently, there's about $700 that's available.
Now,
Really?
the board itself can't use school funds to
No,
create, okay.
no, this was created by a donation.
Yeah, I don't remember, was this,
It was
we had
me.
intended to be a recurring scholarship or a one-time thing?
I
I
wanted
don't
it to
think
be
you guys have,
recurring.
I don't think you have a settled on it.
Did we consider like soliciting local, like Candia businesses, cause if it can't be,
That was
Well,
part of
maybe
the
we could do
discussion.
that.
is it?
So
Yes,
it has to
was,
be
yeah.
privately funded, source every year type of deal?
If you want it to be an annual thing.
Well, just
you know?
because I thought it was like, I saw on Raymond, there was a school board scholarship for high school students, and I thought, oh, that'd be nice to do, but,
Yeah, if you have a funding mechanism, you know, if you have a high school, you have different avenues to fundraise. You know, the boosters usually will give you some money, you know, athletic boosters.
I'll look into
or
it, because it was my idea.
Your drama boosters, but,
If there are some businesses that are willing to do, like, maybe set up like a 5-year
because if you
commitment
want it
or
to be a
3-year.
reoccurring thing, that fund's not really.
yeah, we have to let them know
Those
that.
dollars really
Well,
aren't.
yeah,
Yeah, it's not gonna be a one-time.
no,
thing,
yeah, to set up like a 3 or 5-year type deal.
'Cause some businesses might not be here in fact.
So-
It just happens.
I'll take that, because it was
Okay.
thought
But I
anyway.
just, because I found out that there was a trust fund, that's what I wanted to report back to you.
Just a question about the last topic we were talking about. Did you need Christina to make that motion?
Oh, for the survey, do we need
I
do we need a
would.
motion?
I'd like one.
Okay.
Well, then Christina will make the
Yes.
motion to move the Pinkerton Start Time Survey forward to our parents.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'd like to add an agenda item under new business for acceptance. We have a request for our field trip
It's
Yes.
out of district, that's why. it's
for
before.
grade 6, going to Boda Borg. Is that? Oh, yeah, it's one of the escape rooms for 6th grade, March 12th. Departure time 9 a.m. And we have our requirements about the educational objectives.
I have a
It
question.
basically just needs approval because it's out of
Yes.
state.
Yep.
I know these things are like popping up everywhere. Why do we pick, is this one better?
Probably better. I would
Yeah,
assume.
Mr. Widness has experienced this one and said it's just phenomenal and just could really see this one being
It
super
is
good
so,
for kids.
they're
Yeah.
just amazing.
Yeah, they've got some good topics too that align well with curriculum topics.
And the one in Concord has one on like, our forefathers and
Another,
constitutional.
yeah, our 7th grade is looking at going to that one. Yeah.
So, we have a motion, or, you wanna talk about it some more?
Well, I
or-
need
Yeah,
a
just a
motion
question.
on
So
this.
if this turns out to be good, will this be like a recurrent, we'll go back there next year?
Could maybe.
Potentially, yeah.
Possibly,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah. We often have groups that end up going, the same place, like 4th grade always goes to the State House, right? We'll often find ones like that, but sometimes when there's a shift in teachers teaching at different grade levels too, sometimes they shift different things that they think would be a better fit with the curriculum. But yeah, it definitely would be a possibility.
Motion.
Does anybody wanna make a motion?
I move to approve the request for field trip.
I'll second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Next is I don't have any questions on the expenditure report. Does anybody else?
You get the manifest.
I have it.
Oh,
Yep.
there it is. I
And
didn't see it.
then,
That was
I think it's me.
stealth-like.
Who's on it? I can do it. I'm gonna make a motion that we accept the manifest February 17th through March 6th of $376,314.47.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
And it's just a small amount because we've only had a couple weeks.
Yep,
Just to say that.
between meetings. Can you, so we make sure it gets back?
And then our policies, Dana.
Yep. So on the second read policies, nothing's been changed, so unless anybody has any questions, I'll go ahead and make a motion to approve them. Any questions?
No.
I move that we adopt, as second read policies, JQ, student fees, fines and charges, KEB, public complaints about personnel, KI, visitors to schools, and LDA, student teaching.
I'll second. All those in favor?
And then, so on the first one, policy BCE, code of conduct, we made a change in the language. You can see it's highlighted. Any questions? Does anybody have any questions on any of these?
No.
That's, yeah, it's
I
the same
do not.
time. All right, then, in that case, I'm gonna
Man.
move that we approve as first read policies BCA, code of conduct, CHCA, approval of handbooks and directives, CM, school district annual report, GBJ, personnel records, IF, instructional approach, IH, instructional programs, IKA, grading system, and JLCA, physical exam students.
I'll second. All those in favor? Okay, and then we have our final opportunity for the public to address the board. Anybody? Sam, did you have any comments about the heating?
Oh, yeah,
You just have to state your name and address.
yeah, Sam Martin, 360 Chester Turnpike. You know, I work in the facility arena, and this is actually one of my customers, so I was talking to Linda yesterday, some of the heating stuff came up. And I think just something we should look at is what the preventative maintenance contract is, and possibly how much more over are we on the contract already? You know, if we're gonna end up spending, $30K for a new system, we might already be spending 10 to 15K on emergency calls now. So just something to keep on your hat when you're looking at things. Because if you're going over the preventative maintenance contract, those visits are expensive, really expensive.
Anybody?
Thank you.
Thank
you,
you.
Sam. Glad you're here.
Thank you.
And now we have an item to go into non-public under RSA 91A3, Section 2A.
Is A the correct letter, Becky,
I don't know what you're saying. Oh, the
for the
kindergarten?
kindergarten?
C. Do we have a motion?
I'll make a motion that we move into non-public session under the statute.
All those in favor?
I have to do a roll call. I have to do a roll call.
Oh,
Mark?
Yes.
Christina?
Yes.
Tina?
Yes.
Meredith? Yes. Stephanie?
yes.
Thank you.
And I think we are probably good with everybody but Becky?
Yes.
Okay.
Guys, sit down.
I mean, you could stay if you want. Okay, do we have a motion?
All right, so I move that we waive policy JEB and grant the request for kindergarten admittance.
I'll second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
All right.
Thank you.
I have a question. I don't know if I need to come off.
What's it?
Oh, I wasn't.
We're still on, you haven't
Yeah.
concluded the meeting.
Yeah.
My question's for you, Mr. Weirick. You said something about 6 years old needing to start first grade. Will we be here again?
No.
I had the same thought.
But it wasn't painful.
It's,
Wasn't painful, was it?
you're fine. You're good. You only have to do it once.
You were courageous.
And
Hey.
the other thing that I'll say is for us and for the policy and the minutes, I mean, the big thing for me was our kids are like 22 months apart. And so my daughter would be just a year behind him, even though she's 2 years younger than him. And we wanted to keep some space between them through school. So maybe you take that into consideration for the revision.
Is he excited to come to?
He's really, that's all he's been talking about, so I was like trying not to talk about it too much.
When's our informational? Is it the 15th?
The 19th.
19th, okay. Do the kids come to those?
No,
Just parents.
that's the
So we
point.
have a lot of work to do from now until then.
You'll be great.
It's a
All
big,
right.
big,
Remember-
big first step.
Who was it that voted against it? Because it was like 3-2.
Should
wasn't it?
make motion to adjourn.
Oh, wait, we have to talk about.
No, we've got board reorgan.
informational,
Oh, sorry.
Upcoming agenda items, we have board reorganization.
Yep,
Staff nominations,
yes.
I'd like to revisit the policy.
kindergarten policy, revisit,
The survey results from the Pinkerton survey.
and survey results. Any other agenda items that we can think of?
I'm sorry, I was reading that. What did you just say we're gonna be on?
We're gonna board
Reorganization,
reorganization.
staff nominations, Pinkerton result. We're gonna set a date for the, when do we usually set the date for the retreat?
You can do that in April.
Yeah,
So we should put that on the
Because
agenda.
we'll have the new member.
Okay.
Yeah, I know it's, I know.
well, that could be write-ins, you never
I
know.
have to- When Heather joins us at our next meeting, we can schedule the retreat.
I have a question, is that, I know the election's the 12th, results come out, that day, the next day.
The 11th.
That
will be
night.
The 11th.
So,
Yeah, 2-3 hours after the polls
My
close.
birthday's the 12th, so it's.
Good, glad
So
you
then
didn't
our next
forget it.
meeting, the town, who?
The only
Does the
thing is
town
she has to
swear
go into the town, see Donna Hetzel. and
Right,
get
she's gotta
sworn
do all the
in.
Get
paperwork.
sworn in.
Oh,
After
yes,
the
you have to get
election,
sworn in.
when it gets
You
sworn in.
swear them in, they can, Becky, they can go to the town hall, correct?
Yeah.
You
or
get your
anyone
training
who-
material.
Oh, we can do that?
I swore in
You
Meredith.
can
and
do it
you
right
parking
before.
lot.
She did you in the parking lot?
It has
SAU
to be
meeting.
after Friday, the week of the election.
Meredith got thrown into the
After
fire.
Friday.
The-
I can't believe
You're-
I've been here a year already.
Do they have to certify, right?
You can't swear anybody in until after that Friday.
Right, don't they have to
Okay,
certify
I'll
the
be
results?
In
Isn't
case
that the?
there's a recount. or
Yeah,
whatever.
yeah, certification of
And-
results.
Yeah, okay. So, now we can
Want
have
a
a
motion to adjourn?
Why wait, Christina?
Oh, yeah.
As my last action of a Candia school board member, I'll make a motion that we adjourn tonight's meeting.
I second the motion.
But before you do, I didn't have a chance, I just wanna thank you for all your support and everything
me
you've
too.
done for myself, Becky, and our
Yeah.
whole mission here. It's been great working with you.
Thank you. Yeah, it's been exciting, challenging, a thrill to be, with the larger group, too. Yeah,
I'm gonna miss you.
fantastic. I'll visit.
And with the legalese and contract.
Everyone says they
negotiations.
visit, I haven't seen Woodrow since he left.
Yeah, watch as I show up in the
He's
next.
He's on
yeah.
Zoom.
It's okay. I know you got a hockey game.
Well,
tonight,
my
probably.
passion with some of the special ed, too.
Aye.
Okay.
I don't know if it was the second.
Don't forget, because